what an eye-opener it was when I read in your book that this was a group of women who were the only female citizens of the city who were economically independent. And that was like, you got a silent accolade for having documented that piece of information. And very often, the position or the life of a courtesan was even better than the life of a queen or a fairy in the ruler's entourage.
Well, they were not only independent, they were the highest earners in the city. And the way I found that out is because I got hold of the 1862 tax record, which is still sitting in the archive in Mahanagar. And it was such a shock. The top layer, I thought, it will be the jewelers, it'll be the traders, it'll be, the whole marketing scene. Top one, dancing, singing girls. That's what they were called. Dancing and singing girls, and boon companions. Boon companions being those that, had some sort of connection with the court, and they had incomes. But the highest paid were the highest incomes, and they didn't declare all their income, by the way. I talked to them and they said, "Arey jao, kabhi batane wale hum log. Bata diya thoda sa, phir bhi itna tax ho." That what they even disclosed.
Veena, by the time you did your research on the Kothewalis, they were no longer courtesans, right? They were common prostitutes.
You see, this was the last gasp, as it were. I had no idea that they even existed anymore, because I met them in 1975. The emergency had been declared, if you recall.
Yeah.
And so, I said, "Arey bhai, now to go to these government offices is going to be very problematic." But that was solved because Mahmood Butt, who I called Uncle Mahmood, who used to play bridge with my parents, lovely man, he was the chief secretary. And my father said, "Go to Mahmood's office, tell him you need to go get into all the government offices." So they were all very frightened of the emergency. So I went, and he said, he called his man, "Chai lao, और जितने डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं सब में इतला कर दो कि एक वीना तलवार ओल्डनबर्ग आएंगी, उनकी कुछ मांगे कुछ भी ना हो." And my God, was it wonderful to have such a backing, because I would go and they would put a surahi, they would bring, samosa and chai. I said, "This is not what I want. I just want to see the documents. This you can, don't waste money on me. I can eat all this somewhere else. I don't want to dirty my fingers even. I have to write." Then there was this one thing which was completely closed. Uspe seals lagi hui thi lal lal. So I said, "Isme kya hai?" She said, "Arey wo khatut jo Wajid Ali se aake khatut unhone jo intercept kiye the, wo hai isme." I said, "Ye kisi ne nahi dekhe?" He said, "Nahi, kya karne dekh ke, ab to ho chuka, ab to khatam, I said, "Nahi, khatam nahi, abhi shuruaat. Please open it." So in front of me, they opened the thing and they took out these vellum pelliculi, that is a very nice thick linen, and in the most beautiful nastali, but so beautifully done that I couldn't tell you that it was a script. It was like a painting, one letter after another. So I said, "Toba, Toba." Now my little Urdu, which I was learning to read it, because in school we weren't taught anything, as you know. In La Martiniere we were taught English, and when you came to 7th class or something in my time, you learned Hindi. So I'm stumped, because I have learned Urdu by myself sitting at home, but Urdu Lipi, a little book, I couldn't read this stuff. So I go to the Persian department and I find my friend, who I call, he was called Chadju, but I don't say, he was called Chadju, but he said, just call me Chote Mian. So I called him Chote Mian. He used to go on a bicycle. I would drive in my car. He would not sit. He would say, nahi, phir main wapas kaise aunga? So he would, and I would go slowly through. And he said, आप ये जो खत मुझसे पढ़वा रहे हैं, this was in the archive, आप मिलना चाहते हैं इनसे जो ऐसे these Tawaifs. So I said, आप कहाँ से मिल सकते हैं? He said, चलिए, मेरी नानी है. I said, your nani? He said, हाँ, तभी तो मेरे पास नाम नहीं, आप बार बार पूछते हैं आप. You see, I had a scholarship from the American Institute of Indian Studies, which paid me a lot of money in those days. So I said, I'm going to give you a salary for doing this. तुम मेरे साथ लग जाओ, जहाँ भी उर्दू का होगा. So he said, I said, पर नाम ठीक से दो ना, ये छोटे मियाँ छज्जू वज्जू नहीं चलता. Oh, you have to give me a proper name so I can submit your bills to this to get reimbursed. I don't have the money to just give you. So he said, बस यही है नाम. मेरा तो नाम ही नहीं लिखा गया. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं लड़का था. अगर लड़की होती तो आज जायदाद होती. साइकिल पे नहीं घूमता, मोटर पे घूमता. I said, what are you saying? This is all upside down. लड़कों. And that's what persuaded me कि ये कौन सा कौम है, ये कौन सी लोग हैं जो who give so much अहमियत to women. Then I went and met his nani, and I fell in love with her in about 30 seconds because she was sitting with a pandan. I have photos of a silver pandan, which was the diameter of, a dining table, the round dining table. और चांदी का था, उसमें करीब, she said, इसमें 70 वो है, 70 things that she puts into her pan. She said, आजकल तो मैं 3-4 में ही बना लेती हूँ, पर जिस दिन तुम्हें दावत पे बुलाएंगे उस दिन सब होगा. So I just looked at her, and she was wearing, she was wearing a gharara and she was wearing jewelry. So then I said, हम आपसे कुछ बातें करें? She said, मैं गवर्नमेंट के लोगों से बातें नहीं करती, बहुत बदमाश. I said, हम गवर्नमेंट के नहीं हैं, हम. So I decided to totally change my persona. I didn't say हम लखनऊ के हैं, I'm so-and-so's daughter and I live there or live here. I just said, हम अमेरिका से आए हैं और हम सिर्फ रिसर्च करने आए, और अपने दिल से कह रहे हैं कि हम कभी भी कोई ऐसी बात नहीं लिखेंगे जो आपको ना पसंद है. जब भी हम कुछ नोट करेंगे आप उसको देख सकती हैं, और आप उसको, her friend used to read English quite well and spoke to me a lot in English. I said, हर एक अल्फाज आप चेक करवा सकती हैं कि मैंने कुछ गलत लिखा है या मैंने कुछ बुरा लिखा है, कुछ ठीक नहीं लिखा. I said, जो आपके जी में आएगा वही जाएगा इसमें, और हमें किसी का. I said, हम बहुत very serious scholar and I want to do this. अच्छा, तो लखनऊ में आपने उर्दू कहाँ सीखी? मैंने कहा वो मैंने वहां सीख ली. I said, लिखना पढ़ना नहीं, सिर्फ बोलना आता है. पर so then we started, and the rest of the story,